Hello peeps, I am now back. Finally got on the other bike, which is the new Yamaha Niken 900. I haven't ridden it far. First impressions are it's a weird feeling because it feels like a bike, but obviously there's two wheels at the front, so it's not like a normal bike, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's 100% stable at the front. It's a very weird feeling. I think it's just more in my mind than anything else. Yeah, it's a very weird bike. So these bikes have, well, this is the GT version. I think this is close to 15 grand, I believe. You get panniers with it and everything. You've got like a 12 volt thing up by the dash, you've got a 12 volt thing down behind my rear left leg, which I believe is probably for the pillion, or, you know, power into something in your luggage. You've pretty much, everything on this is pretty much exactly the same as 90% of Yamahas that are out at the moment. Cruise control is on the same place, it's operated the same way, everything, yeah. Back brake is nice, front brake is nice. Mirrors are unusual because they're further away and wider apart, so that feels kind of unusual. Well, it does feel very stable. It's a very comfortable bike, very comfy bike to ride. Getting a nice bit of blast off the screen into my crash helmet, which is quite nice on a day like this. I would normally have done a walk around like straight from the start, but it's actually been so hot that the bikes actually don't seem that eager to start because it's so warm. So I'm going to take this along the same route I just took the FJR, stop at a petrol station. I've got to get it back by 5. It's just gone it's like 10 past 3, so yeah, so I've got a couple of hours on it. It's alright mate, get on the right side of the road, it'll be helpful. Okay, now. Pardon me. I've already tried the 30 and 5th. It does do it. It's not as happy as the FJR. As you just saw, this also has a quick shifter. Also comes with heated grips, but I'm obviously not going to turn those on. Anyway, back to how this bike feels, because I've been waiting a little while to ride this bike, because I'm one of those people that think, I don't know how that's going to feel, so I want to try it. Because I've never ridden a bike like this. I've never ridden like the little mopeds that have the lean in front, two wheels. I've never actually experienced them, so when I saw this, it's not like it's love at first sight. I think this is the sort of bike that you would buy if you were doing touring a lot. It isn't cheap obviously, but you know, if you're thinking, you know, say you go touring and then obviously you don't know the roads, then this gives you that little extra bit of not comfort, a little extra peace of mind. You know, it lets you, you know, you can feel that there's a good amount of grip at the front. It's not the same as a bike. You know, it's very easy to. It does feel like a bike, but also not. It's weird. It's unlike any bike I've ever ridden, that's for sure. And I noticed that as soon as I left the shop. So yeah, I don't really know much about this bike. It was just there, so I thought, yeah, I'll give it a little ride. It was there when I got the FJR, but someone was taking it out. I don't know if you've seen all of the actual pivot points and the arms and everything that actually control all of these wheels at the front, and the suspension and stuff, but it's actually like a thing of beauty, because know, so as you're leant over, the two left-hand side suspensions obviously work independent to the two right, and so as you're turning, they pivot on a certain point, and then if you also turn the handlebars, that also turns the wheels as well. And obviously I'm not that way inclined, but it's really hard to understand how something could pivot up and down, twist backwards and forwards, and you know, there's a lot of pivot points. There's some real mechanical marvel going on behind all of this plastic. Going back to this plastics, it offers a good amount of protection. I don't really want the protection at the moment. I actually want fresh air. Right, hang on, let's do... Oh, come on, for God's sake. My camera's right in the way. I hope I didn't pull that out. Nope. Right, so in fifth, 29.30, yeah, it's fine. It's a comfortable bike. It's nice. It's quite chilled. Smell barbecue. That's what I love about England. As soon as the nice weather comes out, oh, let's get the barbecue on. It's so sad. It just doesn't work to me, and it's almost like, oh, the weather's out, so that instantaneously means that you could drink a lot and you can drive around with your roof down, your music blaring and your sunglasses on and not pay attention because, of course, the sun's out. Ugh. I don't know if any other biker notices that, but sun comes out, IQ goes way down. Yeah, and the throttle is a little bit, I just noticed that actually, I wouldn't say it's twitchy, or snatchy, but it's definitely like the engine's still quite an eager little beast, this little 900. I do quite like this dash. It's not a TFT, it's like the flipped LCD screen like that was on the SP versions of the MT-09. Instead of it being black letters on white, it's white letters on black. So, I don't know if you can flip it, you might be able to. Oh, God, here we go. It's alright, let's go slow as you can. Slow as you can. 20 mile an hour around a corner in my Jaguar 4x4. See, I should be famous. Come on, right. I'm in the charts with that song. Jaguar 4x4, that would be, yeah, that's a really good single. I like it. Anyway, enough about me. Back to the bike. So, as far as I know, I believe this 900 triple is the same that is in the XSR 900. Same that's in the Tracer. Same that's in the MT-09. Feels the same. I'm not sure if it's tuned at all. I don't know. I don't know if it's tuned better for this. Is that what it actually is? 33 degrees. Ugh. It definitely feels warm. Coming to a stop on it, it's very easy to flat foot actually. As I said, in my other videos, I've always said I'm about 6 foot tall. Not sure what my inseam is. I think it's 34. I can flat foot on both feet on this bike, so it's not too bad. It's quite easy to handle. It's a bigger bike than I'm used to, obviously. Probably not weight-wise. It just feels it. I think it's kind of something that your mind plays tricks on you because you see this big frontal area and you instantaneously think, oh my God, it weighs a ton. It's not actually like that. It doesn't feel like it weighs too much when you're on it. It's quite a confidence-inspiring bike. Little bits though that I'm not quite sure if that's normal. Like this little bit round the key, just. You know, you've got that little bit, but then there's the two bolts that are just open and the cables that are just a bit of electrical tape. I don't know if that's normal, but that looks a bit Looks a little bit shit, Yamaha. Hello peeps, I'm back again. Oh look, I've got my cock out. See him? Big cock. Having a quick look round, I've just realised the space on my SD card is a little bit shit, even though I've got a 64 gig one. Yeah, it's not working too good. It's not looking too good to actually do 2 reviews in a day. Oh, bit of shit. I shouldn't be recording in higher quality. So I thought while I was here, I would have a look at all of these. You know, that's the mechanism for the pivots. You know, that's a pivot. This pivots. All up in there, pivots. You know, the arms up here, pivot. It's actually quite a piece of engineering. I try and stay away from that big cock. The look of it is a bit weird to me. Road presence, certainly it will have road presence, that's for sure. I'm a bit, yeah, I'm not sure if I like it. I'm not 100% sure. It's a nice bike to ride, but it's a real niche. You know, it's not something that if this is the sort of bike you're looking for, then there's not many bikes that are out that are like this, so it'll be this or probably nothing, or a moped, or a normal trike, but then that's not a bike, is it? So, yeah, I don't know. Luggage would obviously go on here. Still got the cracking 900cc triple engine, which is a peach, which is always one of my favourites. Absolutely love that. I do actually like this engineering thing. I like how engineering like that works, how pivot points and stuff work. I find that really interesting. You have to be clever to do that stuff. You have to be extremely clever to do normal stuff, let alone that. So I don't know. I don't know what you think. It's a big old bike, but it's not that heavy. But yeah, weird. I'm not quite sure. I'm one of those. I'd be kind of not won over, but not pushed away from it. And one thing actually, I was shown, even though it's just been ridden, you know, the old hero blobs have been had a good old scrape already. Yeah, got the old remote reservoir. There's the other 12-volt point, which you could you could do it from the pillion, or you could run your clothes on it. Yeah, it basically is just a motorbike, but it has 2 wheels at the front. And it's really clever the way that it works. That's pretty much the only way to actually think about it. Everything else is exactly the same as every other motorbike, pretty much, that Yamaha thinks, you know, that produces. If you sat on a Tracer, everything, the way that it works on this is exactly the same as on a Tracer. The riding position isn't too much different. It feels different, but obviously you'd expect that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's as much as I could be bothered to do for a walk around. I don't want to waste too much time walking and talking. I want to get on the road and try and get a few more minutes in before my SD card fills up and I'm fucked. So anyway, I'll see you in a bit. While I'm here, just in case my camera does fill up and I'm out riding, just wanted to say thanks again to Brian Gray's Power Biking in High Wycombe. Head over there, speak to Sam if you want to ride a bike like this in particular bike, or other bikes that they might have on demo. Obviously you need a clean license, you need a full bike license, blah 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 blah. You don't know the score, it's too hot to explain too much. So yeah, once again, thanks to them. Thanks to all my recent subscribers. Really appreciate those. So right now I'm going to sign out. I'm going to get back on the road, but for now, just in case my camera does run out of space, Deadbug Davey's out. Laters. Right, I'm back. Cruise control on. Sweet. Right, seeing as my SD card is a little bit shit, to be honest, even though it's 64 gig. Yeah, I haven't even recorded an hour and it's full. Stupid. I'm just cutting this one short, and it's also 4 o'clock and I've got to get back to Brian Gray's by 4:30. I think I'm probably going to ask if I can do another review of this bike, take it out for a day, because I don't think I'm doing it justice just riding it for an hour down the road. So this is just going to be more of a initial impressions, because I don't think it's going to be fair to judge a bike like this, because it's a really unusual bike. If you just take it out for an hour, yeah, I'm not sure what you're going to think of it. You know, if you're like me and you're used to riding just normal bikes, it does feel a bit weird, but it also at the same time does feel really nice. And it's still got plenty of poke. You know what I mean? It'll still go quick, still quick enough. And it actually does just feel like a normal bike. Just notice that the wind blast coming off the screen is really hits me right on the peak of my crash helmet, really uncomfortable. I don't think the screen's adjustable, that's one little gripe as well. There's a couple of things I don't like. I don't think the screen's adjustable, but at the moment it's quite alright. I think if you had a normal crash helmet without a peak it'd be fine. A little bit of fit and finish around the clock is a bit crap. The wires with the blue tape, that looks a bit crap. But you know, I'm nitpicking really. So my initial impressions, I would say, if you're thinking about going out for a ride on this, don't think of it as, because I think a lot of the issues are going to be that people are going to think, oh my god, it's got three wheels, it's going to handle so differently to a bike. And it does, but at the same time it doesn't. There isn't really anything that this does that differently to what a normal two-wheeler does. It feels differently, like it feels different, but it's not that different. It's hard to explain. And I think it's not going to be a big seller, because a lot of people that ride bikes are going to look at this, and of course you need a bike license, because it is a bike, even though it's got three wheels. It's not a trike. And I know there's a lot of issues with trikes and licenses, but I'm not going into that. So yeah, it's still classed as a bike. And I don't know how that works. I guess it is a trike because it's three wheels, but it's still a motorbike license trike. But it does feel a bit weird. I think the ride-wise, suspension and everything, I think the FJR is better. I think the FJR had a much smoother ride. It was a bit lazier. So as a tourer, if you wanted to relax and get somewhere in comfort, I would head towards FJR more than this, even though it is more expensive. This is definitely not as torquey, this motor, but it is a bit more sporty. I think this bike would be good fun, you know, once you actually get to know its little foibles of the handling with the two wheels at the front. It's kind of like your own mentality holds you back, because you're thinking, well, there's two wheels on the front, but actually it's actually fine. It actually handles really well. And I'm not sure, but I'm getting a lot of wind noise around my crash helmet now. And I couldn't really notice that going the other way, but I have a feeling most of it is coming off that screen. It's kind of hitting me smack banging on the actual peak of my crash helmet, which is a little bit crap. It's kind of one of those things, if you had like a little fin hanging up the front, it'd probably adjust it, so you could easily do that, different screen. Yeah, I think everything about it is really nice, like the mirrors are good, the ride is definitely more sporty than the FJR, the bike feels very planted. Yeah, I like it. I wasn't really expecting anything, I wasn't expecting to be blown away, and I wasn't expecting to look at it and think, oh god, it's crap. I wasn't really expecting anything at all, so yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's good. Good bike. Right, I'm going to sign off and I'll be back before I get back to Wickham. Alright, so I'm on my way back now. I ain't far off. So my initial thoughts. It's a bit of a strange bike. Bit of a strange bike. actually a nice bike, it's nice to ride. But it's kind of in a class of its own, you know. If you're going to get a bike like this, then it's kind of like you're pretty much just looking at this. Or you go into like bikes like my dad, like the Can-Ams and stuff, which are an actual proper trike. They're not like a bike with like the pivots on the front. So they're an actual low-down trike. So, or you're going down to the mopeds, like the Piaggio or whatever they're called. So I like it. I think it's quite a lot of money. It doesn't feel unlike a bike, which is the one thing I actually was wondering about. I thought it was going to be so different to a bike, and I just wouldn't like it. And it's actually not. It feels like riding a bike, really. I think you do notice the extra grip mid-turn. Then that's kind of like when you realise that it has two extra wheels. Obviously, two extra wheels, an extra wheel. You know that there's two wheels at the front, but when you're actually riding, like normally, you don't actually notice it. But when you start turning, and you're kind of turning like leant over quite far, it feels very planted. But as you're just riding it normally down a road, it feels like a normal bike. You feel every bump. Yeah, it's still quite stiff. It's not an excessively comfortable ride, to be honest. It's a nice ride, don't get me wrong, it's a comfortable ride, but I wouldn't say that it's, you know, like it soaks up all the bumps. It's not like the FJR, it's not like that at all. Oh God, now what? So yeah, I think to do this justice, I need to have it for longer. The day's running short. I just don't have enough time. I haven't got no space on my SD card, and I don't want to record stuff that doesn't even appear. So yeah, right. At the moment, I'm going to sign off, and I'll record back in a minute. Later. Right, I'm back. I'm just going to do like a very rough view of the bike, because as I said, cannot give it like an hour's ride and then do it justice to say, oh, I don't like it or I like it. That's really unfair. I haven't got enough time to do this, as I've said a few times. So my initial thoughts are, I'm quite shocked by how much it just reminds me of a bike, how comfortable it feels. You feel very assured on it. Yeah, I like that part of it. The bits I'm not sure of, as I said, was the fit and finish around the key. The dash, to me, at certain points, like now, I could see the speed, but it's not bright like now, it's almost gone. Yeah, I've got like an eye condition, which, yeah, it's not good. So I'm very light and dark sensitive. So I have my internal visor down, and yeah, I can't see it very well. That, to me, would be enough for me to think I don't want it. You know, once I've actually started riding bikes with TFT dashes, I then start looking at these things like that. Now I can see it says 50, but I have to actually look at it. It's not like I can notice at a glance. So now that I've actually started to ride bikes with TFTs, I actually look at that and I just think, nah, I don't want it. Like my TFT on my KTM is like really bright in the daylight, it's really bright in direct sunlight, and it's amazing at night. I can see absolutely everything. You, as another customer, may look at this and think, yeah, that works fine for me, but for me, it just doesn't work. See, like going around like roundabouts like that, it just feels so planted. It just feels so easy. It's definitely still, suspension-wise, it's definitely still on the hard side. It's a little bit firm. Obviously, you can dial that in, but it's not like it's electronic suspension like I think it probably should be. Obviously, you do that to a bike like this, and then you're going to bump up its price again, and then you'll be looking, you know, if this is 14.5, you give it electronic suspension, and then you're bumping it up to what, 17, 18, you know, well, at least 16 anyway. So anyway, let's do the right, 5th, doing 30. It's fine. This engine's fine with this sort of stuff. The engine's the triple's really nice because it's quite nice and lazy, but it's also got a really nice mid-range punch, and it's also got quite a reasonable high-end whack as well. So yeah, I really like triples. Triples are really good. So yeah, I really like this, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask them for a little bit more time with it. Obviously not today, I'm going to have to come back to it. So I'll put this video up, but it's going to be a short one probably. It's not going to be the sort of video, there's a bump there, yeah, rode over that quite nice. It's going to be the sort of video that I'm not going to be happy with. I'm going to want another video. I put too much time in the FJR. I've recorded way too much of that. Should have put more time into this, to be honest, but there you go. So anyway, at the moment, I think, well, I'm heading back to Brian Gray's now, so I'm gonna do that, and then I've got to go back to work, which is also another thing I wanted to do with this. I wanted to ride it down the roads, which I ride daily, to see how it feels. But, you know, it's nearly 4:15, and they wanted me back by 4:30, so it's no point. So I'm going to say see you later. Thanks very much for watching. There will be another video of this bike, hopefully incoming soon, if I can talk Brian Gray's into letting me borrow it again, which I should be able to. It shouldn't be an issue. They're normally pretty decent with that stuff. Yeah. I'll get another one coming in, and then hopefully I'll be able to spend a little bit longer and make a decent video out of it. So anyway, I'm signing out. So Deadbug Davey, thanks for the subs, thanks for the view, and I will see you on the next review or whatever the hell I do. But for now, Deadbug Davey is out. Laters.